Hello, lovely viewers, and welcome to today's episode of Glade Sports Express News, where we give you nothing but the best. Or like we do it every day, I'd kindly ask you to subscribe to our YouTube channels, click on the notification button, like, share, comment, so other people could get this sports news. Well, we also have social media handles on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Threads, Facebook, WhatsApp page at Glade Sports Express. And on X, we are Glade S Express, where you could get detailed news on our website, www.gladesportsexpress.com. So I'm just going to tell you about history and how it's affected some current teams, like being relegated from the league proper to lower divisions, where it wasn't due to them not failing to qualify, but because of managerial aspect. Well, so we will talk about Olympic Marseille, we will talk about Lyon, we will talk about Elche and other teams that have suffered the same fate. Well, in the history of teams who have suffered financial struggles and other related battles, Lyon is the current. But let me take you back in history. Well, just to make some of us understand that losing your place in the top division doesn't always mean you being on the relegation zone or just ending up 20th, 19th, and 18th. No, well, there's a lot of things that happen. Well, the most iconic in this situation was Juventus. Well, Juventus and the Calciopoli scandal, where La Vecchia Signora not only lost its spot on the Serie A, but they were stripped of their last two Scudettos. Well, the Scudetto is the Italian Serie A title. Well, this was related to referee manipulation, and to this day, it has its own Netflix series. Well, it's surprising. It's like what happened to Juventus has created its own, should I say, series, like a drama series where people get to watch and see what's happened with them over time. Well, they are not the only team that this has happened to. Well, it happened to Rangers in 2012, where the Scottish champions faced severe financial issues and tax evasion, which led to its liquidation. Well, the club wasn't just relegated, it was dropped to their fourth tier, not like just Division 1, like the fourth tier. Well, Marseille in 1996 were relegated to the League Two and stripped of their 1993 league title after a bribery scandal involving match fixing. Elche, like I said, had their share in 2015 after being relegated from La Liga to the second division, despite finishing 13th due to unpaid debt to the Spanish tax authorities. Well, before we go into other aspects, well, I'll just give you fixtures that will be happening in the FIFA Club World Cup. Well, that's the round of 16. Well, Benfica will be facing Chelsea, Palmeiras will be playing Botafogo, Paris Saint-Germain will be playing Messi's Inter Miami, Flamengo will be facing Bayern Munich, Inter Milan versus Fluminense, Man City versus Al Hilal, and then Real Madrid versus Juventus. Well, there's a lot of things going on. I've told you, Vinicius Jr. winning his first man of the match, Estevao Willian winning double man of the match, and others. You know, there's been a series of individuals who have suffered various forms of attacks, not like hooliganism or vandalism, but I'm talking about athletes, footballers, athletes in general. Well, many have faced these drug bans, like betting bans, a lot of them. The person I'm happy for today is none other than Manchester City and England women's national team goalkeeper, Khiara Keatngs. Well, many of you who know her story would know she's really been through a lot. Well, I'll start with Benjamin Mendy, the Manchester City player. Well, allegedly, he was arrested for rape. A series of rape cases with people coming forward to give evidence. At the end of the day, what happened? Benjamin Mendes was acquitted, not guilty. What happened to his football career after? What happened to these people who accused him of rape? It just happens. Nobody cares. Well, Khiara Keatngs was accused of having possession of drugs. You know, if you're not strong, like if you are not mentally strong like she is or she was, that's the end of your footballing career. But Keithen continued to plead innocent in the midst of witnesses and exhibits being shown to prove that she's guilty. She still pleaded not guilty. Well, the case was raised last year. It's all been dropped. I'm not saying part of it. It's everything has been dropped. Like the case against her of being in possession of drugs has been dropped. This is what's making me happy for her. And I know she is happy herself. Well, after everything was dropped, all accusations were dropped, this is what she had to say. Well, Keaton said, I'm relieved the charges have been dropped. As I've always said, I did nothing wrong. It's been a difficult time, but I've always known the truth. Now I'm just looking forward to focusing fully on the Euros and spending time with my family. Congratulations to Keaton for holding up to her honesty, like holding up to her pedigree. Like I said, not everybody would survive this. Some would just give up. Some would probably just give in to saying, yes, I was in possession of it, just to let it go. But no, she held on to her, like the truth always comes out. And today, she's congratulations once again. Well, the person who is making waves on social media, going viral for some unnecessary comment today is Brazilian and Barcelona player Rafinha. Well, Rafinha has been tipped by many to win the Ballon d'Or after having a fantastic season with Barcelona. Well, certain comments from the Brazilian is making people think otherwise. Well, remember, Barcelona did not qualify for the FIFA Club World Cup. Well, they lobbied with FIFA just to get a spot on the FIFA Club World Cup. Well, it didn't happen because there was already 2 slots for each reps. Well, it was occupied by Real Madrid and Atletico Madrid. So then Barcelona could not fit in. Well, Rafinha said, it's a shame to give up my holiday to play something you are forced to play. At no point were the players asked about dates if they wanted to play. So my question to Rafinha is he sure that if Barcelona had qualified for the FIFA Club World Cup, he would he would say the same things? It's a schedule that everybody already knows. You qualify for the next Champions League fix, you already know you are playing Champions League. They've qualified, they didn't get relegated in the La Liga, so he knows they are definitely playing the La Liga next season. So why make these such comments? Well, people have started bashing him, saying it probably have an effect on his chances of winning the Ballon d'Or, because it's still FIFA we are talking about. Let's put him aside. It's probably just jealousy or him watching people play the Club World Cup, but that's another thing on his own. Well, Deontay Wilder, like I told you, came for revival. Well, after losing to Zong and Tyson Fury, his boxing career almost went down the drain. Well, Deontay Wilder came back to fight against Tyrell Hendon. Well, he won by around 8 TKO. Well, it wasn't the old Wilder that we know. The Wilder that came with Fury, like that kind of Wilder wasn't the Wilder many people saw in the ring against Hendon. Well, that's like after a long time, so people have said, well, he needs more time to find his rhythm, to find his courage in the ring. Well, he's won, and that's a good thing. I told you Canelo Alvarez and Terence Bud Crawford have had some heated arguments, not just argument, but it got to that point where Canelo had to shove Crawford. Well, Canelo said that if Crawford F's him, like he F's him up, he's going to Fing him up in the ring. I know you understand what I'm trying to say. So he says if he F word him, he's going to F in word him in the ring. Well, we already know how Canelo does his business. Well, we also know how Crawford does his business. Well, these are fighters that don't run, they stand and fight. Hopefully, we get the kind of boxing match we're looking for, not the honey fight and the running. No, we are looking for a good fight. Canelo already had one running fight with School. Well, we are not looking forward to something like that. Barcelona are still in the news. Well, they are trying to sign former Bayern Munich and Manchester City player Joao Cancelo. Well, Cancelo is one of the best left backs. Well, just no argument. He's one of the best. It doesn't matter whether he had two wrong seasons or two bad seasons. He's one of the best. Well, Barcelona have already submitted a bid of 15 million euros, and hopefully that is a done deal for Barcelona. Atletico Bilbao or their fans are doing something very funny. Well, when Nico Williams was in the news of joining Barcelona, a lot of media captured him to be a traitor. Well, it's not him being a traitor. He's been playing for Atletico Bilbao with his brother. He had the opportunity to move on. Well, like everybody knows, his contract didn't fall through. His mural with his brother in Bilbao, well, he got damaged. I wouldn't say damaged. He got painted off the mural, and he was left with just his brother, Inaki. Well, right after his contract fell off, they painted back his mural next to his brother. It was very shiny, like it looked nicer than the old one. Well, the breaking news, that mural is no longer just a shiny mural. It's a mural that now says, effing rat. I don't know how to put it in Spanish, but yes, the F word, rat. So they are calling Nico Williams a rat for snitching on the team. Well, they are saying he's still there because his contract didn't fall through. Well, whether it was because the contract didn't fall through, trust me, Bilbao was still going to get money from his sale. They would realize he just stay there and leave as a free agent because he wouldn't want to sign his contract extension. These are some of the things they should understand in football business. Like the same issue with Thomas Partey. He will be leaving as a free agent and Arsenal loses. The English Premier League is trying to bring new features to next season so that we can have lots from players, from managers, from every angle of the sports. Well, these are what they've introduced. Well, halftime interview with players and managers, interviews with players who get subbed off, and then dressing room broadcast. Well, these are something that will give journalists some leeway to have conversations with players. Well, get understand certain things before even the match ends. Well, Manchester United, why are you Manchester United is so stubborn. Brian Mbeumo has been on your radar for too long. You should concentrate on Ahmad. If I were Ruben Amorim, I would concentrate on Ahmad. Ahmad is the best player in Manchester United. Well, Manchester United submitted another bid of £55 million plus 7.5 million add-ons. Well, it was rejected by Brentford. I don't see why they should be pushing for Mbeumo. He's a fantastic player though, but he's not that player to be chased like, I don't know what they are seeing in Mbeumo, but hopefully they get his signature. If that's the player they want, then hopefully they get his signature. Well, ex-Wolves coach and current Benfica boss, Bruno Lage. Well, remember I told you in the FIFA Club World Cup, Bruno Lage had a confrontation with one of his players on the bench after he subbed him off. Well, the player refused to shake him and all kind of things. Well, that is gone. But Bruno Lage is complimenting somebody else. Well, he's complimenting a Chelsea player as the complete player he has ever worked with. Well, he said there was actually a rumor before Enzo Fernandez came to Chelsea that he was going to join me at Wolves. So that was funny. In terms of money, Chelsea have one of the best midfielders in the world. But the player I really know is Pedro Neto, Chelsea's current number 7. And trust me, Pedro Neto is one winger. He is one of the best wingers in the world, he said. He's also dangerous because he can go either way on the ball. This is a player who doesn't fear to take you on. He's got the pace, he's got everything. So trust me, he's one of the best. Well, condolences to the PSG, the family and friends of their physiotherapist who lost his life. I've told you, anything that involves somebody losing their lives with regards to hooliganism, football, like even health, it's just not something well, condolences to the friends, the family of Cedric. Well, the PSG physiotherapist. Well, Glade Sports Express sends condolences to the family and friends, everybody affected by his demise. We are with you in these hard times.